You know, while we were sitting here today, I wanted to answer another question and kind of go ahead and shoot a full video about this question that I was asked a couple times lately on videos. And the question was, do I carry a folding knife, and would I consider a folding knife as an option to carry, you know, into the woods? And my answer to that is, I do carry a type of folding knife or a multi-tool with me the majority of the time, but would I consider that a one-tool option? Absolutely never. You know, I think that you can get away with having some type of folding tool with you if you have a good fixed blade knife or an axe. Then I think you can get away with that a little easier, because you're never going to baton that knife. And I think that's the important thing to understand about folding knives or folding tools in general, is they're not meant to be batoned. Now, the reason that I carry a multi-tool, generally, which is the Leatherman core, over a folding knife, and this is the folding knife that I carry with me when I carry a folding knife, and this is a Queen Cutlery number 39, I believe it is. It has two blades. It has a larger blade, and it has a bird trout knife style blade on it. And this is very similar to the type of folding knife that Nesmith described in his writings, or George Washington Sears, as he's well known, in woodcraft and camping. Except his folded out both directions instead of one direction, but it gives you two extra blades that you can use for smaller camp tasks and things like that, that go beyond the one heavier blade that you carry for most of your tasks. The thing about a multi-tool is that you get that functionality of having those extra blades on there. This one has, you know, two different blades on it. It has a serrated blade, which I'm not crazy about at all, but if you have that diamond rod, you can sharpen a serrated blade. But serrated blades are more made for cutting rope and strap, and they're not real conducive to good uses in a wilderness situation for, you know, self-reliance. They're more of a search and rescue type tool. But it does have a regular blade on it as well. That's pretty good. It's not a bad made blade at all. It holds a really, really good edge. It's really sharp. So for fine carving tasks, I can always use that. The advantage to a tool like this is, you know, it has a multiple grit file on it, which is very good, and that's something that I tell people they always should have on a multi-tool. The other thing that it has an advantage of is it has an awl on it. So that awl with the hole in it allows me to do repairs if I have to, and I don't have a repair needle for some reason. But it also gives me that drill option to drill things out, drill holes and things like that. I can use that awl for reaming things out, and that just makes it real convenient to have that all on there. Now, it does have a couple screwdrivers on it. The only good thing about screwdrivers in a situation like that, in my opinion, really, is it gives you a prying tool, and you don't have to use your knife for that. The other important thing I think to understand about a multi-tool is it needs a good saw blade. And this is really, really important. I don't think it's stressed enough, because I've always told everybody, you know, that you should carry a non-coated type knife with you that's got a good 90-degree spine for sparking a ferrocerium rod. But if you have a really good high quality saw on your multi-tool, okay, and this one does, this thing will scrape a ferro rod like you would not believe the sparks that will come off of this. And actually, I think I'll give you a demonstration of that here in just a minute. But a good quality saw will do you for a lot of small notching tasks that you want to do, and not have to carry a folding saw with you, because you're not going to cut big chunks of lumber with this saw. You're going to use your axe for that. So this would be an option I would take, you know, if I had the other tools with me. And it's got a couple different screwdrivers on it, which make it real convenient for taking apart your weapon, for cleaning, you know, my 12 gauge and things like that. Plus you have the pliers, so you can use that to pull pots off the fire with, and all the types of things that you can use pliers for. And it's got wire cutters, you know, in a self-reliant situation, you might want to cut a piece of barbed wire fence to make a fish hook or something like that, and you can do that with a multi-tool. So that's the reason I really prefer the multi-tool, and a good quality multi-tool, that is, over a folding knife. But as far as would I carry a folding knife as a one single tool option, I would never do that. You always should carry some type of backup knife with you. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You know, I've always said that. If you don't choose to carry some type of folder or multi-tool, you can always throw, you know, an inexpensive Mora in your pack that doesn't weigh a whole lot, but it will give you that fine carving need. You know, a Mora SL1, a 511, an 840 MG, all of those have a 4 1/4 inch blade on them. They don't weigh anything. They're very light and simple. You can throw them in your pack without adding a bunch of weight, and it just gives you that secondary, what I would call a culinary tool for fine skinning tasks, fine carving tasks, prepping food and things of that nature. So that's, you know, my 2 cents and my humble opinion about folding knives. There's lots of folding knives on the market that are very, very good. There's lots of folding knives on the market that are very, very much junk. But if you're going to get a folding knife, you know, buy a good one. That's all I can say to you. And make sure that you have one that's made out of good tool steel, so it's multifunctional for you, and you can strike sparks with it if you have to from either flint or from a ferrocerium rod. The same thing, you know, with this multi-tool. This multi-tool, this Leatherman core will absolutely just devastate a ferro rod. I'm going to show you that right now, so stay with me. Okay guys, I'm going to do this in front of the fireplace here, but I want to show you guys, I can do it right here, it's not a big deal. What I want to show you is I'm going to take this multi-tool. First I'm going to get this knife out for a second, and I'm going to take this piece of fat wood here, and all I'm going to do is carve myself a quick feather stick out of this. This one's not too dead already. I'm going to try it anyway. And all I'm trying to do here is expose some surface area when I do this, and expose some resin. And remember what I've talked about before, you know, with Surefire you need an accelerant, and pine resin is definitely an accelerant. Okay, so now that we got our feather stick made, let's kind of tuck this back up in here a little ways so it's not exposed out here, and we can kind of trap the sparks when we throw them in there. A couple of these little chips we'll shove up in there as well. Now, we want the saw blade, and you can see what kind of sparks that thing throws. I mean, they're simple. Okay, that took a lot more strikes than what I wanted to take, but you can see we got it. Okay, that's just a normal blank ferrocerium rod and the saw blade on that tool. The back side of the saw blade, that's important.